this has really been a JRJR dominant story, as is any, issue where he's doing the artwork. But like, I thought this was a really great example of like what sensibilities JRJR brings to the table versus all the other artists that have kind of cycled around this book. Like, I don't know any other artist paired with Zeb Wells that would take the time to show Tombstone loading the gun in like 3 or 4 panels. I think that is definitely, I don't know what the Marvel method is or whatever method Zeb and JRJR have worked up here, but that it changes so drastically when I almost said dramatic and drastic, and I made it one word.
Make it a word.
I will. Dramatically. Perfect. I don't know that any other artist would afford that amount of time and has the same pacing sensibilities as JRJR. And, an issue like this, I feel like that really comes to the forefront, including the sort of like physical tangibility of all these things, the gun clacking together, or even the fingers of Janice like scratching away the skin on Tombstone's face, which I found quite visceral. And honestly, I hope those scars stay and they don't pull like the Lizard where any change is not permanent. I think if your daughter scratches your eyes like that, you get to hold on to those scars in your design.
Well said on all that. And like you said, I mean, this was a comic that was just like very solely in JRJR's wheelhouse. This is kind of what we have been waiting for in terms of, since we heard that the last story of the Zeb Wells run was going to be a Tombstone story with JRJR. We kind of knew that it was going to be gritty and grimy and bloody and physical, and that's what we got here. Just a ton of great physical beats here. Like you said, lots of Spider-Man jumping through windows and broken glass and people falling and hitting, and like the force of the fall on Janice and kind of seeing her holding her arm and hobbling away. Like it all felt very tactile in a way that you don't normally get in a Spider-Man comic book with other artists. I loved it.
Were there any particular like moments that really stood out to you in regards to both Zeb's writing and not Tombstone and JRJR's penciling work? I can think of a few, but I want to give you a shot since you really like this comic.
Well, the moment I just mentioned, the Janice going out the window, I really appreciated the sequencing and just like I said, the tactile physicality of it. Like it just, it was kind of a low key moment where I wondered, oh wait, is this how Janice goes? You know what I mean? Because it really felt authentic and real in a way that we don't normally get in a Spider-Man comic. You don't normally see people falling out windows and kind of landing, on their front side and kind of like that moment of seeing her get up but clearly being hurt. And I feel like it was all really well executed and designed out in terms of like just getting the sheer blunt force of the fall. That was probably my highlight. I mean, obviously the double page splash of Spider-Man jumping through the window is just a gorgeous thing. The clawing of the eyes and just kind of seeing, again, the tactile blood under the fingernails of the scratch. You know what I mean? Again, like you don't get like these are visuals you don't get in a Spider-Man comic. Even Spider-Man versus Moreland, which was a very was JRJR and very knockdown drag out. Like you don't get that kind of just sheer physicality and griminess in a comic. So those are two that I would call out. Anything from your end?
Yeah, well, I mean, to go back to the window one, I love the reason it stood out to me is the specificity of it. Like Tombstone pulling on the fabric of Janice's, I think it's like her shoe or something like that, and it's stretching like that, and like even Spider-Man's head like knocking up against the wall. It felt like the perfect moment to have like a oh no, if we just made one little bit different action, somebody wouldn't be dead. That's how I read it. It was just like, oh, like they're really highlighting the specifics of this for a reason. Now, obviously, everybody ended up okay-ish, but the whole issue is kind of like that. For me, there was a moment where, Tombstone gets ahead of Spider-Man, and he manages to like catch up to Janice and picks her up by her neck and slams her full body into the ground, and the panel goes vertical, and he's standing there with his whole body like rigid like Frankenstein, as he's just full weight pressing her into the ground, and we get these images of her face reacting to being choked by her father, and his face starts to creep into the reflection of her eye like a little skull, and I thought that was really chilling. So I thought beautifully done stuff. Even just the physicality of like her, overturning trash cans or whatever it is to block him in the way. This was a swift moving comic, and I always love it when an artist, when Spider-Man's moving really quickly, when an artist removes the web lines from his costume and just renders him in like kind of a flat colors, like a Superman costume, to kind of highlight that like it's moving so quick, even the artist couldn't render the webs. I know Mark Bagley likes to do that too, and I don't know. It's like it's a quirky detail of Spider-Man artists that showed up here, and it's something that I've never really got to mention on the show before. So now, speaking of something new I've never seen before, the end of the issue leading into the cover of the next. I can't think of a issue of Amazing Spider-Man that's done that, or any Spider-Man title, or really many comics that have done that. Certainly it's been done somewhere. But it reminds me of like the sequence during the Vulture fight where you had to turn the book sideways to read it. Like it's taking liberties with the medium of comics in a unique way. And I thought that was pretty cool. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, no, I thought it was phenomenally executed. I mean, like, it actually took me a couple of look-throughs of it to be like, oh, okay, that's what that is. You know what I mean? Like it seems so organically integrated that like I didn't even think of it as like a incomplete cliffhanger. You know what I mean? Like it just was like, was it bonus page count or actually what did they use a page that should have been the story to do the preview? I wasn't counting.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. I don't know if I would have preferred there not be a preview because it just works so well as like you said, the natural next page is
right.
The preview. It's kind of cheeky and like funny in that way. But it would also be cool to have like not known what that cover would look like and find out that the cover literally picks up, but it was worth it for the laugh of the kind of like playing with the design. So I appreciate it. And I think it'd be a bummer too. Like if you were reading a trade, which I'm sure doesn't include the next cover preview, if they don't like have the cover printed in there, because I think it's a really nice on the page joke. Or like wink, wink to the style or format of the book. So I got a laugh out of it. I know that wasn't the intended feeling, but it was like a fun way to like acknowledge the like format and physicality of a comic book.